Welcome back. Today, we'll be looking at the concepts of narcissism, ethnicity, and divinity. Last time, we looked at God follows and how power hides inside the sacred. Today, we move forward. We are still in the same chapter of On the Postcolony, but we open a new door. The question here is simple but heavy. Why is it that people will fight, kill, and surrender their whole selves for the idea of one jealous God? And how does that idea shape the way we live together as ethnic groups, nations, and communities that claim divine backing? Mbembe calls it the phantasm of the one. A fantasy where a jealous God does not only take possession of one person, but takes possession of an entire people. Once this possession happens, every connection they have with themselves and the world becomes controlled by that God. The best metaphor for this is monotheism. One God, one truth, one chosen people, one meaning. We enter Egypt, we enter the age of conquering pharaohs. We follow Amenhotep, who later becomes Akhenaten. He raises the cult of Aton above all others. He declares Aton to be the only God. So even before Israel, the idea of one God and one truth is already alive. When Akhenaten dies, the experiment collapses and polytheism returns. But the vocabulary of oneness survives, and Israel later borrows from it. Now, Mbembe gives us the 5 implications of monotheism. I will speak them in simple language. First is primacy. A God who answers only to himself. He is time. He owns time. He is what stands beyond time. Everything begins and ends inside him. Second, it is totalization. One truth that swallows every other truth. One sovereignty that admits no rival in a world of many gods. Each god has a lane. In monotheism, there is only one lane, and everyone must enter it. Third is monopoly. The one God survives only by eliminating every other form of worship. This is why the God becomes jealous, harsh, possessive, and violent. The existence of other gods is taken as an insult. Fourth is omnipotence and providence. A God who creates from nothing and saves from nothing. A God whose power is not limited by any rule. His gift is absolute, but so is his wrath. Fifth is ultimate truth. A universe that has only one meaning. In a universe like this, dissent becomes impossible. Heresy becomes a crime. Someone must police the truth. Someone must punish those who question it. You see the link between theology and politics. From here, Mbembe moves to Israel. He explains how the idea of the God arises in the middle of national crisis. Israel is caught between superpowers. They are conquered, scattered, dragged into exile. Diplomacy fails, military power fails. In that moment of collapse, they declare that they have one God and that this God has chosen them alone. So monotheism enters history not as a peaceful idea but as a political survival strategy. But it does not come smoothly. Israel is surrounded by all other gods. Baal is still powerful. Many people still sacrifice to the sun and the stars. The kings of Israel fight this religious competition. Some kings embrace Baal. Some try to suppress Baal completely. Some kill the worshippers to protect the purity of Yahweh. Notice something? Temples are not only religious houses. They are financial houses. They are political houses. Every worship system is backed by priests, intellectuals, and a social base. So the fight over the one God is also a fight over money, privilege, and political influence. When Israel returns from Babylon, Ezra and Nehemiah come back with more than people and goods. They come back with the Torah. They enforce it through the power of the Persian king. The law of Moses becomes binding, not because people freely agree, but because foreign imperial power says so. Again, you see how religion and politics enter each other. Then, Mbembe move into kingship. In pagan cultures, the king is divine. He stands between the gods and nature. He is the axis. In monotheism, this becomes dangerous because the king may claim what belongs to God. So how do you create a human king who does not compete with God? The solution becomes the prophets. Their job is to warn king that God alone is God. Their job is to limit political power so that human kings do not declare themselves divine. In this way, monotheism remains tied to political control and discipline. This discipline forms a cycle: sin, threat, punishment, exile, forgiveness, and repeat. Through this cycle, the chosen people develop a new identity that Mbembe calls narcissistic. They see themselves as unique, different, separate. Their God is tribal. He has no family, no wife, no siblings. His perfection is built on isolation, and his chosen people must mirror that isolation. This is why the laws of purity and exclusion are so strict. This is why mixed marriages are broken. It is a politics of closure. Then Christianity enters with a new move. It tries to break this closure. It opens the door to the Gentile. It shifts from tribal identity to a universal claim. It builds a divine family, a father, a son, a mother, a spirit. This new God becomes a progenitor God. He has a son, but without the sexual act. The mystery becomes poetic. Divine sexuality is not about organs. It is about death and resurrection. It is a drama that performs power. Christianity gives the God a biography birth. Life, suffering, crucifixion, death, and then resurrection. Mbembe shows down at the crucifixion and reminds us that this suffering was real, not symbolic, not gentle, not clean. The body breaks, the body soils itself, the body collapses into fear. Everything becomes exposed, the body becomes meat, and through that suffering, the God performs a new kind of power. This is where we will pause for today. Our next step will be to take these ideas of the one, of narcissism, of divine possession, and use them to understand our own world. In Nigeria, in Africa, in politics, in our ethnic and religious crisis, because the phantasm of the one is still alive. You see it in the way groups claim divine backing. You see it in the way leaders present themselves as chosen. You see it in the refusal to share truth. You see it in the violence that follow dissent. This is where we will continue next episode. I remain your host, Osho Abiodun. See you some other time.